Greetings, sorcery fans. Today we're going to talk about Arthurian Legends Curios. I pulled some examples of cards that could be Curios from the most recent standalone set expansion of sorcery. This is Arthurian Legends. They came in these beautifully gilded boxes, booster boxes, 24 packs in each box. The beta booster boxes had 36 packs and the alpha booster packs had 39 packs. And Curios started as a perk to the backers. So when Alpha hit $1 million on the Kickstarter, Eric's Curiosa threw in Curio cards as incentives. One of those cards was Mirror Realm, that was inverted artwork upside down on a card. So I grabbed my Mirror Realm playmat that you're looking at by Liz Danforth, and I'm using that as the backdrop to talk about Curios today. In the beta set, they continued the Curios. It was estimated that there were 18 different Curios in both alpha and beta, and so people speculate, collectors think there are going to be 18 Curios in Arthurian Legends as well. So far, only about 12 of them have been identified, so there's a possibility of maybe 6 more Curios that are still hidden and not discovered yet, but I'm going to take a look at these cards today to show you what are some basic examples of Curios and how to spot them. Starting with the Ordinaries, they have the Squire Curios, which are very similar to the Troll Curios from Alpha and Beta. In those sets, they had Boss Troll and Bridge Troll that had one word misplaced on the card, or on the back of the card it said Curio instead of Curiosa, and you needed a very attuned attention to detail to find these Curios, but they are out there, and some of the cards do trade for a premium. Several $100s for some of these Curio versions. And there are Curio collectors that specifically collect just the Curios, and so this is what they're looking for. The first card is Reckless Squire, which is a ordinary mortal that says charge, Lance. Lance is a new function in this Arthurian Legends set, but the Curio version has been spotted of Reckless Squire, and it says Lance, charge in all caps. So what I did is I pulled out all my copies of Reckless Squire, and I'm going to compare the text box and see if there's any differences in the font or the print type down here. And I have about 20 copies. I've opened up about 5 boxes of Sorcery, Arthurian Legends thus far, and I'm not seeing any changes or differences in this text down here. So that's the first way to spot if you have a Curio, and so there are no Curios in that stack of Reckless Squire. The second confirmed Curio is the Shameless Squire. There's one from each element. This is the Water Squire. It's an ordinary mortal. It has Lance also, and its Genesis abilities to tap target nearby enemy, and it drops everything it's carrying. But on the Curio, they use the text, it says drops here, is slanted diagonally, so that it will appear visually differently on the card if you're comparing the text down here. So I'm going to look at all 20 copies of my Shameless Squire and see if it appears in a different location, and it does not appear if there are any Curios in that stack. But you would want to do that to your bulk to make sure you don't sell a Curio inadvertently to a collector. Weightless Squire is the third confirmed Curio. It's the air element, and on the Curio version, Airborne Lance will appear at the top of the text box. So I'm going to look at all of these copies and see if Airborne text appears in a different location, and at the moment it does not on these copies. It's estimated that there are about 25 copies of each Curio, of the 18 in alpha, and also with the 18 in beta. So I'm going to guess that there's possibly 25 copies of each Curio version in Arthurian Legends as well. In alpha and beta, that was approximately 1 Curio per 100 boxes, booster boxes. And it seems that like maybe in Arthurian Legends, the Curio pull rate should be the same, or possibly 1 in every 50 boxes, something like that, since it's a smaller set and there's fewer packs. The fourth Squire is the Thankless Squire, and this has not been confirmed to be a Curio, but I feel like it might just be the Troll Curio, where Eric's Curiosa wants everyone to look at all their copies of Thankless Squire to see if anything is different. So the first thing I would look for down here is the text box where it says Lance, 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 immobile, and see if that text appears differently on any of the cards. And I think this is probably a small sample size, only 5 boxes and only maybe 20 copies of each card. So if you've opened up 10, 15, 20 boxes of Arthurian Legends and you have hundreds of these cards, you might want to check those for Curios. And also on the back where it says Curiosa could be Curio. The word spellbook could say something else. It could say Avatar on the back. Anything on the back could be different. That would make it a Curio, but again, they'd be very rare. You probably only have one Curio in every 1,000 copies of the card. The next rarity that I'll talk about is the exceptional rarities. The ordinary ones are the hardest to spot because the Curios are pulled in the ordinary cards in the pack. So if you're not noticing the subtle text difference on the ordinary cards, you'll possibly miss a Curio, but the exceptionals are easier because the alternate art version will appear in the ordinary cards in the pack. So Wyvern is the first exceptional Curio card. This is the regular version of the card. The Curio version has a medieval art, like a medallion image on the card. If you found that in the ordinaries section of the pack, you would obviously know that is a Curio. The next card is Unseelie Court. It's an elite. And again, the Curio version will appear in the ordinary section of the pack. This is the regular art by Liz Danforth. The Curio has a sketch version, partial sketch of the original art, full art on the back of the card. So this is the regular version. Look for an Unseelie Court that has some sketching on the artwork. The unique rarities are also desirable and collectible because they're harder to pull in regular format. So the prices kind of escalate on the alternate art images. The Green Knight is one of the first Curios in unique rarity. The unique artwork, alternate art Curio, will have a portrait picture of the Green Knight. So this image here with him riding the dragon horse maybe, is the regular version. Art is by Rodney Matthews. And so the alternate Curio art will just be his portrait. Down here we have some elite sites. This is Wizard's Den. This is the regular copy of Wizard's Den. Hayne over at the YouTube channel Wizard's Den does awesome content on sorcery. So Eric Curiosa made a tribute card to Hayne at Wizard's Den. And the Curio version is an alternate language card. It's written in Japanese down at the bottom. So if you have this Wizard's Den that says Genesis, draw a spell, discard a spell when this site is first attacked successfully, that's the English regular version. But if you have text in Japanese at the bottom, you found the Curio. There's also another alternate language Curio. This is the regular unique Brocliade unique site by Séverine Pineu, and she's French, so the French version is a Curio and it has French down at the bottom. So instead of saying Genesis untapped nearby fairies, that would be in French. That is the French alternate language Curio. And then there's a couple Curios that I don't have basic examples of in regular form, one of which is a kind of an alternate art atlas card, which features art by Jussi Pickus. And this one is one half of the full art image. So this includes a card called Blunderbore, which is also a unique. It looks very similar to this, but it's the other half of this image. So if you had Blunderbore and Rebex, you could put them together and it would be two separate unique giants, but it makes one image. And so the alternate art Curio is a horizontal version similar to an atlas, but it has both of those images without any text on a card. So that version of these two cards is the Curio. That is confirmed. And then the last three that I don't have examples of are all uniques. We have Doxmary Pool is a unique site. It's an atlas site. There's an alternate art version of it that is the Curio. There's also the Unladen Swallow, which is a unique card. It has kind of an earlier version of the gilded border. That version of the card is more like a solid gold frame instead of this gold leaf frame. But the Unladen Swallow that has that solid gold border is a Curio. And then the last avatar that's been confirmed is the Archimago unique avatar, which has the word spellbook on the back instead of avatar. It'll say spellbook on the back. But those are the 3 cards that have eluded me thus far in my 5 boxes of Arthurian Legends. I encourage you to subscribe to my channel if you're interested in collecting Arthurian Legends or want to know more about curios and set collecting. Like this video if I've done a good job covering some of the basics on Arthurian Legends curios. Go check out Cardboard Guide, who has a much more extensive dive into curios. I recommend their channel quite a bit. And yeah, stay tuned for my Friday night box openings where I open up Arthurian Legends. Appreciate all the likes, comments, subscriptions, and follows. I will see you in the next video. Happy collecting, everyone.